Publishing is a wildly important subject and is only getting more important with the way that the musical landscape is shifting now, the way in which music is being used in so many different places. They all center around publishing. The first thing you need to know that until you do a deal with a publisher, and by that I mean either lend them your copyright for some period of time or sell them a portion of your copyright, you are your own publisher. And you become your publisher as soon as you write an original song and you affix it in a tangible medium, which is a kind of legalese way of saying that you either record it or write it down. You don't have to write it down in terms of, it doesn't have to be annotated, it doesn't have to be transcribed. You can do just, a lead sheet type thing, chords. But as soon as you write that down and it's original, you are the sole exclusive copyright holder. Having a copyright means that you have certain rights. You have rights to sell this song, you have rights to use this song, and no one else can unless you allow them to do it. And fundamentally that's what publishing is. The myth, it's not so much a myth, but the practice of sending yourself a sealed envelope with a CD in it, the reason people do that is because it fixes a date to that copyright. So if you send yourself an envelope that has a CD in it, it gets postmarked, and you can say, okay, I made this song at this such and such date, and so anyone who says they did it before that is going to have to prove, something more tangible than this envelope. In point of fact, it's not a great way to do it. It's called poor man's copyright. The reason that it's called poor man's copyright is because it only costs you the amount of a stamp versus doing it the right way, which is registering with the Library of Congress. And we have some information on how you do that on the Alpert website. It's not hard. It does cost you a little bit more, but the reason you do it is because then if there's ever a dispute, the person that's registered with the Library of Congress, if they're right, will win. Either way, you have copyright. Registering with the Library of Congress doesn't give you copyright. It just gives you more leverage in a dispute. It gives you more ammunition in a dispute. So once you have that copyright, then it's a matter of exploiting it. Now, exploitation in just about any other industry is a bad word. In the music industry, exploitation is a beautiful word because it means that you're getting your music out as widely as possible. And that is fundamentally the role of a publisher. Publishers have three kind of main roles. Registration, which we just talked about, collection, which is actually getting the money from the exploitation, and then third, exploitation. Anyone can do registration and collection. If you can't do it yourself, there are many agencies out there that will help you do it. Not everyone can exploit. And that's really the art of publishing, is getting those uses for your song. The uses can be anything from getting it on a record, your own record. As soon as your song is released commercially by a record label, it starts generating royalties, mechanical royalties. That's exploitation. Exploitation can be getting your song used in a movie, getting it used in a TV advertisement, played on the radio. You get into the domain of public performance, where companies like ASCAP and BMI will track that radio play and compensate you for it. That's really the game of publishing, is exploitation. I would encourage all artists to do as much of that as they can on their own. Because there are many companies out there that will kind of claim to be able to exploit your music, get your music used, but it's hard. It's competitive, and you give up a lot when you say, okay, company A, B, or C, go ahead, you become my publisher. You can give up, 50% or more sometimes of your copyright, so that every dollar that comes in, this other company keeps half of it. That is not necessarily a bad thing. The flip side of all of this is that there's kind of a conventional wisdom out there that you must never relinquish any part of your publishing, never sell your copyrights. Sitting on a copyright and not doing anything with it is as bad as giving it to someone, and it's worse. You need a partnership, a team. If you can't do it yourself, you need someone that will get out there and generate some attention and some revenue from your song. And paying them a portion of that for doing that service, that's okay. As long as it's fair, as long as there's an equitable split. If they can really deliver the goods, if they can really exploit, if they can get your songs used, they deserve to be compensated for that. There are many, many different ways in which you can structure that type of agreement, from a straight publishing deal in which the person you partner with owns half of your copyright forever, to co-publishing deals in which you maintain some percentage of your copyright and your partner only has the right to exploit it for a term. It gets a little tricky, but it's really not that tricky. The key thing to remember is that just sitting on your songs and not exploiting them is not the right move.